Okay, the WWE Championship match. That is to say, the SmackDown WWE Championship match. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble. This is his big opportunity. This was a very hyped match, much hyped match. People were, very excited for this. AJ Styles is probably the best wrestler in the world, if not the best. One of the best for certain. And there are many who would say the same of Shinsuke Nakamura, although his WWE run has been a little bit underwhelming. He hasn't been delivering those classic matches of the caliber that he was delivering in New Japan Pro Wrestling before he came to WWE, or even of the caliber that he had when he first came to NXT and had that match with Sami Zayn that was so amazing and beloved. Although a lot of that can be chalked up to just the hype of him being there is what led to the atmosphere with the NXT crowd and made the match incredible all on its own. They didn't even really have to do anything for that match. It was just already cool to see Shinsuke in the WWE for the first time. Now, he's been in the WWE for a little while, and it's been kind of underwhelming, and you can chalk that up to any number of things. The WWE style, or the WWE system, or not giving him enough time, or not giving him enough matches to really shine in. I don't really know. I wouldn't speculate on it, but it's undeniable that his WWE run has been missing something to this point. He's kind of just been an entrance, and they have him do the same stuff in every match now. He doesn't really get a chance to be the king of strong style as he was. He doesn't get a chance to be brutal anymore and really kick people's heads off the way he was kicking people's heads off in New Japan. And he doesn't really get a chance to cut any promos. He speaks English pretty well, but I've noticed with WWE, and this annoys me, maybe it's Vince, but they tend to, when they get a Japanese wrestler, they like to pretend that they don't speak English. Shinsuke, up until now, has been cutting very basic promos with very broken English, and they make him talk with a fucking mouth guard in, so his accent is nearly indecipherable because he's got a big fucking thing in his mouth. Hasn't been doing him any favors. So it's been underwhelming, but AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and AJ Styles and Nakamura already had a really amazing match in New Japan right before they both came to WWE. So this is actually AJ Styles versus Nakamura Part 2. So people were hyped for it because their first match years ago in New Japan was so great. People have been saying and thinking, well, Nakamura's run in WWE has been kind of underwhelming until now, but if anyone can get a great match out of him, if there's any opponent that can bring back the king of strong style that we all know and love, it's AJ Styles. And this is for the WWE Championship, the biggest possible match, the biggest possible stage. Nakamura won the Rumble for this, so they obviously believe in him. The company obviously believes in him if they were willing to let him win the Rumble and have this match at WrestleMania. So if there's any match and any opponent where Nakamura will give it his all and be allowed to give it his all and have, good enough guy with that we know he has great chemistry with in the ring, this is the match. This is the one where we'll finally get to see the real Nakamura that we've been missing for the last 2 years. That being said, the build-up to this match has left a lot to be desired for me. There isn't really, or hasn't been, a bad guy in this feud. No heel or babyface. They're both just kind of respecting each other a lot and just excited to be able to compete against each other, which I think is always fucking lame. I hate storylines like that. There's no heat. There's no reason, really, to get invested when you've got 4 weeks of promos and the entire storyline is, boy, oh boy, I sure do respect you a lot, and I can't wait. I look forward to having a good, clean fight, and we're going to shake hands and have a good old-fashioned wrestling match, and may the best man win. Whoop-de-shit. That's fucking boring. That's like mixed martial arts. Oh boy, we're just athletes and competitors, and we're so excited to be here, and sportsmanship. Fuck that. It's fucking boring and gay and lame and stupid and shitty and faggy and pathetic and lame and stupid and dumb, and I hate it. This is wrestling. Wrestling is a place for people who hate each other to kill each other and get away with it. That's the fantasy of wrestling. The entire point of wrestling is getting lost in this fantasy of a world where men are still men and you can still solve your problems like you would in nature, where there's no fucking bullshit pussified laws that say you can't deck somebody in the fucking teeth if they piss you off enough. In wrestling, if somebody's an asshole and you hate each other, then you're allowed to kill each other. That's what's cool about wrestling. That's the world that I want to live in, and that's the world that wrestling gives me. It's catharsis. It's catharsis for everyone who has to live in this wretched world and this vile society where people can just walk all over you and treat you like a dog and expect you to smile, where you just eat shit every single day and deal with assholes nonstop, and you're not allowed to beat them to death. That's the world we live in, where assholes always get away with it because you're not allowed to do violence, and it sucks. So when I watch wrestling, I want to be transported to a better world, where people who hate each other are allowed to beat each other up. So I don't want to see people shaking hands and saying, "I respect you. Let's do a fucking fair fight with sportsmanship." I don't want to see sportsmanship. I want to see a good guy and a bad guy, or at the very least, two people who hate each other's guts. I want to see hatred. I want to see bloodthirst and vile and venom. Violence. So the build-up to this match has been shit, because the whole feud has just been them kind of respecting each other. And yeah, there's been like sort of mind games with like Shinsuke and AJ trying to psych each other out and seeing which one is going to lose their cool first. Like, I get that that's the underlying story here, but it's not enough for me. And this match was a big disappointment for me. It was not good. I did not care for it. It was very boring. It seems like the reason this match ended up being a letdown and being kind of boring is that it had to be. Because the story that they're telling is a long story. Longer than they had time for. The story that they're telling is a story about first they respect each other, and then the head games start, and then they have a regular boring sportsmanship match, and then they begin to hate each other. And then the real feud starts, where they don't like each other anymore, and it ramps up to 11, and then they have the real battle, the good fight, where they finally want to kill each other. That's what they're building up to with this. And unfortunately, they didn't have time to, or the format of winning the Rumble didn't allow for them to have the boring match first and then have the good match at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, with the story that they're telling, the only way to do this was to kind of have the boring match at WrestleMania so that they can have the good match later at a different event. So I get what they're doing, and I get why this match was the way it was, but I didn't like it. And I don't think the crowd was into it either. I think the crowd was bored for most of this and just as let down as I was. I realized watching this that this is an example of my least favorite kind of wrestling match, and that is long matches between guys who don't really hate each other that much, where they just trade wrestling moves. It's just a series of wrestling moves. A bunch of suplex variations, and a bunch of holds, and occasionally someone will go to the top rope, and it's just, you know, suplex, body slam, suplex, run the ropes, clothesline, body slam, suplex, top rope, suplex, body slam, clothesline, just back and forth with wrestling moves. And when you have a long match that's just wrestling moves back and forth between two guys who don't really hate each other enough, that's when I start to lose interest. It's everything else about wrestling that gets you invested enough to enjoy the wrestling moves. The suplexes and the body slams and the running the ropes are only exciting because you give a shit who wins, and these guys fucking hate each other. It's emotional content, like Bruce Lee said in the movie. I'm not going to say this match had no emotional content, but it just didn't have enough. It was just suplexes and body slams, and maybe there's a Kinshasa somewhere, and maybe there's a Styles Clash or a phenomenal forearm. Who fucking gives a shit? It was lame. So Shinsuke loses the match. AJ retains. So both Royal Rumble winners, both of them lost the match. And anytime the Royal Rumble winner loses the championship match, it kind of inherently feels like a letdown. But I mean, I understand that they have to do that sometimes, or else it would just be a foregone conclusion when the Rumble winner wins the main event and gets the championship. I understand that. Sometimes the Rumble winner has to lose the big match. But this year, both of the Rumble winners lost the big match, and neither of them won the title. For the first year in a row, they had 2 Rumble winners, and both champs retained. And that made me sad. That was a letdown to me. At least one of them should have won. So I was disappointed in this match pretty much on all fronts. However, what saved the match and almost redeemed it was what happened after the match. The match ends, AJ Styles wins, and Shinsuke goes to get the title and hand it to AJ, as if to say, you beat me, you're the better man, you know, the lame sportsmanship thing. Same thing Asuka did, which was, I thought it was lame in that match too. Fuck sportsmanship, I hate it. If you lose, you should be pissed off that you lose. That's what makes it real. Sportsmanship angles are the fakest thing about wrestling. So Shinsuke goes to do the sportsmanship thing. And he fucking gets on one knee and holds aloft the title to give to AJ. As if to say, you beat me, I lost, you're the better man, congratulations. And I'm watching it and I'm thinking, God damn it, what a bunch of bullshit. This is so lame. I don't want to see fucking Shinsuke handing the title to AJ like a fucking loser, like a chump. And he hands the title to AJ, but then, wouldn't you know it, that sly devil, that slick son of a bitch, Shinsuke Nakamura, the king of strong style. What did he do while he was down there on his knees, holding up the title to give to AJ Styles? What did he do when he was down there on his knees? Wham! He punches AJ Styles right in the dick. Ha 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 ha! Right in the twig and berries. Fuck you. You're dead. Fuck off. That's what I like. That's what I want to see. Not sportsmanship. I want to see rage. I want to see fucking bitterness. I don't want to see, oh, you beat me, you're the better man. I want to see, you beat me, fuck you, I'm gonna punch you in the balls. That's what I want to see, and that's what we got, baby. Shinsuke Nakamura, he punched AJ Styles in the nuts, and AJ Styles went down like a sack of shit. And the crowd went, yeah! The crowd wasn't even horrified. The crowd was happy. The crowd had the same reaction as I did. Thank God someone in this fucking feud is being mean now. Thank God someone is acting like a human and being bitter that they lost, not just congratulating the other guy for beating them. Thank God this is real now. So Shinsuke loses the match, and he's pissed off about it, and he punches AJ Styles in the dick. And then, for good measure, he kicks him in the head a bunch of times and gives him a Kinshasa, which is the fucking knee to the back of the head that kills you. So, there. AJ Styles is dead. He might have won the match, and Shinsuke might not have won the championship, but at least he got a chance to be a bitter, mean asshole and punch AJ in the dick and kick him in the head and kill him. Thank God. That saved the match. The match itself was such a letdown and would have remained such a letdown if not for this swerve right at the end after the match, which almost totally redeemed it. I would give this match a 2 stars out of 5, but because of the finish, because of what happened after the match was over, and the dick punching, I have to give it a 3 stars. So it bumped my score up just because at the end, Shinsuke is finally acting like a person who is pissed off that he lost. And now this feud can continue and get more heated, and now they can hate each other and have the knockdown, drag out, strong style, ass-kicking battle that they should have had the first time, the battle that they deserve to have. Now they can have the real match in this feud, and it is a shame that because of the way this story was laid out, that the boring match before the good match had to happen at WrestleMania. I would have liked to see the good match at WrestleMania, but you had to have this kind of match in order to have the next match that they're going to have, which I think is going to be a lot better. So I was disappointed in this match, but I understand why it was the way it was and where the storyline is going, and I'm still hopeful for the next time they fight. 3 stars. Also, on the Raw after Mania, they did a promo with with Shinsuke, and he cut easily the best promo he's ever cut in WWE. It was hilarious. I watched it like 11 times, where Renee asked him, Shinsuke, why did you do that? Why did you punch AJ Styles in the dick? Why did you tarnish your match like that? And Shinsuke is like being really sarcastic and just going, I don't know what came over me, Renee. I guess I got too emotional. I'm very sorry for what I did to AJ Styles. And he winks at her like this smarmy, shit-eating wink. Again, Shinsuke speaks pretty good English, and they just haven't let him speak English until now. But I guess now that he's a heel, and he has to cut promos and be a smarmy wise ass, now they're finally letting him cut promos, and he does speak English. And this promo was hilarious, and just the just dripping sarcasm and the wink at the end was too much for me. And then it continued, and and Renee goes, Shinsuke, you're clearly being sarcastic. Why are you being so disingenuous? And Shinsuke, he leans into the microphone and he waits for the perfect amount of time, and he finally says, sorry, no speak English. And he just walks off. Yes! Yes! This is the greatest thing I've ever heard! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen! Shinsuke's back! That's the real Shinsuke Nakamura. That's the Nakamura that we've all been missing. That's the king of strong style. A fucking smarmy, sarcastic asshole. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit! He's gonna go in there, he's gonna punch you in the dick and kick you in the head. Beautiful. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I can't wait to see him fight again. I can't believe how many matches there are to talk about in this show. It didn't seem like a lot when I was watching it. I can watch wrestling forever. You watch WrestleMania, it's like a 7-hour show, and it sounds daunting, but I like wrestling, so it flies by. All those matches fly by. By the end of it, I'm like, well, that didn't seem like so long of a show. You know, even the bad matches I like. Because I just like the atmosphere of WrestleMania. It never seems like that long of a show to me, but then you sit down to talk about it in a podcast, and it's like, oh my God, I'm talking for 17 hours. There's no end to it. There's so many matches. Next up was the match for the Raw Tag Team Championship. The Bar, which is a tag team consisting of Sheamus and Cesaro, versus Braun Strowman and his mystery partner. Well, this match was not a match. This was not a wrestling match. This was a circus. This was a sideshow spectacle Oh my god, I want to fucking kill myself. Holy shit. Okay. The next match was Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. I don't give a fucking shit about this match. I didn't even watch it. I don't even want to talk about it. Who even gives a shit? Okay, one more match to talk about, and then I can fucking finally end this and never talk about wrestling again, at least for another year. And by the time I'm talking about this match on this podcast, I am now as exhausted and not giving a fuck here as I was by the time watching it, being exhausted and not giving it a fuck when I was watching it. Does that make sense? Is what I'm saying? Oh, God. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. It's the main event. Third year in a row, Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. So they just, I don't know what to even say. I have nothing. Roman Reigns, main event, WrestleMania, 30 year in a row. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, main event, WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Universal title, WrestleMania, main event, Roman Reigns, 30 year in a row. Universal title, Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania, Roman Reigns, Universal title. Nobody wanted this. I don't know how it's possible for the company to not have been aware that nobody wanted this. This match was a fucking disaster in every sense of the word. It was a disaster before the match even started. The very fact that this is the match that is ending WrestleMania, that alone, even on paper, is a disaster. You had to know. Everyone knew what was going to happen. Everyone knew that this was going to be a nightmare. And it was a nightmare. This was an abortion. This match was an abortion. In every sense of the word. I mean, not literally. So not in every sense of the word. It wasn't an actual baby that was sucked out of a vagina with a vacuum and thrown in the garbage. But metaphorically, this match was absolutely a baby that was sucked out of a vagina with a vacuum and thrown in the garbage. And that's where it belongs. So just the fact that it was happening in the first place was bad. And everyone knew it. Everyone knew it. Everybody knew it. That this was bad. This was a bad idea. I don't know how in tune everybody in my audience is with wrestling. I really hope I don't have to go in to explaining the Roman Reigns problem for like the third or fourth year in a row. I'm sure I've explained this all before. And then there's the Brock Lesnar problem, which is a whole different problem, but they've both become a problem. I mean, Brock Lesnar has great matches with the right opponents, but I'm sick of him. We're all sick of him. We're sick of the suplexes. We're sick of the same Paul Heyman promo every single week for the last 7 years. We're just sick of it. And we're all goddamn sick of Roman Reigns. We've been sick of Roman Reigns since 3 years ago. This match was slow. It was boring. It was bad. It was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. What is there to say? They have 2 moves between the two of them. Suplex, 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 Superman punch, suplex, Superman punch, Superman punch, Superman punch, suplex, Superman punch, Superman punch, suplex, F5, 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 F5. This was terrible. This was awful. And the crowd was chanting, "This is awful." I've never heard that chant before. That's never happened. Crowds have turned against matches in the past. They've heckled matches in the past. But I have never heard a "this is awful" chant. And they were chanting for Nicholas, the 10-year-old boy. They were playing with beach balls. They were throwing beach balls around in the crowd. Oh my God, this was a disaster. Oh my God. This was like watching the Titanic sink in real time. Like how, how it took like 3 hours for it to sink all the way. That's what this match was like. Just an interminable shipwreck. It got to a point where it was just Brock delivering F5s to Roman and Roman kicking out, one after another, 5 times. Roman took 5 F5s and kicked out of 4 of them before he finally got pinned, and Roman lost the match. And I don't want to go into the speculation of why the decision was made to have Brock win the match. I don't fucking care. I just don't care. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. It's not even real. That's how you know a wrestling match has failed on every conceivable level. When you try to talk about it later and you just go, it doesn't matter. It's not real. Because that's all you can say at this point. That's the only way you can stay sane when thinking about Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania main event, Universal Championship, Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 3rd year in a row, main event, Brock Lesnar. People were not having this. The crowd was like apoplectic, livid. The crowd was simultaneously apoplectic and apathetic at the same time, which should not be possible. But Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, WrestleMania, Universal title, Roman Reigns, 3rd year in a row, main event, WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar, made it possible. Oh, God, Lord. Oh, God, Lord Jesus. Oh, God, Lord Jesus, Mother Mary, Virgin Mary, Mother of Christ. Oh, good God, Lord Jesus, St. Peter, Mother Mary, Christ, Virgin, sucking your father, sucking shit. Oh, good Lord. Oh, saints preserve us. Oh my God, the bad, worked shoot promos from Roman leading up to this. Talking about contracts and... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my God. Talking about how Brock Lesnar is Vince's boy. Roman Reigns complaining that Brock Lesnar is Vince's boy. No. No. Ah! At one point in the match, Brock Lesnar busted open Roman the hard way, it looked like. A bunch of fists to the head. Roman started bleeding. It was not good. It was too much. When I was talking about the Gargano and Ciampa match, I was saying that match was great, and what could have made it even greater is if there had been blood at some point. That was a match where blood would have been appropriate. This match did not need blood. This match did not need to happen, for that matter. And there was too much. It was too much blood. It didn't look fun. It didn't look like, oh wow, this match is really heated and brutal now. Now we're paying attention. Oh no. it made the audience want to pay less attention, I think, because it was too much. It was like, oh no. Like, Roman was dripping blood. It was uncomfortable. He was, like, face down in a pool of blood. Brock Lesnar won. Roman Reigns looked sad or mad or something. He looked bloody. He looked like a scary, bloody mess. I mean, we're all bored of Roman. We all don't like Roman's place on the card. But that doesn't mean we want to see him face down in a pool of dripping blood. That was sad and bad and uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. That gave me like an icky feeling. Especially because I'm pretty sure it was not a blade job. I'm pretty sure he just got punched open like that. Which makes it seem all the worse to me. Oh my god. There was one spot that was fucking scary. There was one suplex on the outside where, like, the whole match, all the suplexes from Lesnar looked really bad. Like, particularly bad. Worse than usual. It was very sandbaggy. Like, they were very sloppy, exhausted suplexes of him not getting Roman up all the way, and they just looked bad. And the one on the outside, I think it was a belly-to-belly, Roman landed on his head. I thought he was, like, I screamed. I gasped and screamed when it happened. I thought he was dead. So it was a match that nobody wanted to see. And on top of that, it was also a really terrible match, anyways. And the crowd fucking completely rebelled against it. And rightly so. This was a nightmare. This was like this was watching a train wreck. And all the dirt sheets say that, like, the finish was changed at the last minute, or it was changed on the fly or something, and Roman was supposed to go over, but they changed it because they knew the crowd would rebel against it, or they heard the crowd and called an audible. It's like, if you knew the crowd wasn't going to have it, then why did you do this in the first place? You're the ones booking it. Why do you keep doing this? Why do they keep doing it? Roman Reigns, WrestleMania, 3rd year in a row, main event, Universal Championship, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Why? And you know, the speculation is that, like, Brock had words with Vince after the match, like he was upset that he had won because he wanted to leave. This is all just dirt sheet speculation. It's not to be taken seriously. It's just conflicting information that we, the viewing audience, will never know for sure. But I don't know. Reports that, like, that they manufactured a fight between Brock and Vince backstage that we didn't even see to work the people backstage, like, to work the workers. That's like weird WCW shit. Like, why are you doing this meta fucking Roman Reigns worked shoot talking about contracts and being Vince's boy? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? This is like Goldberg refused to follow the script. That's what this is. No, this can't be happening. They can't really be doing this. This is not real. This is, I'm asleep. This is a dream. This is like a weird nightmare that I've been having. This isn't real. This can't. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. You know, even being as bad as it was on paper, even with nobody wanting to see this, it wasn't just that they didn't want to see it. It was also mainly that they didn't want to see it in the main event. Nobody wants to see a Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar main event, Roman Reigns main event, WrestleMania, 3rd year in a row, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Universal Championship in the main event. That alone pisses people off. So as bad as this match was on paper, it could have been salvaged if they had just put this match before on the card. And if they had had AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura be the main event instead of this, if those two matches had switched places on the card, they both would have been much better received. I believe that. I know that for a fact in my heart, because people would have been more willing to forgive the Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns match if it just weren't the main event. If it just weren't Roman Reigns main eventing for the third year in a row, and if it weren't Brock Lesnar the part-timer main eventing, if it were just one of the matches on the card earlier in the night, then people would have given it a fair shake, and even though the match itself wasn't that good, people would have at least allowed themselves to get invested in it, more so than completely rebelling against it in the main event. And if Shinsuke and AJ had been the main event, the last match of the night, then people would have been that much more hyped for it, because they would have appreciated that the match was the main event, and the crowd would have been way more into that match as well. So both matches would have turned out better if they had just switched places on the card. That's all you would have had to do to fix this entire scenario, or at least make it palatable. But no. Roman Reigns, main event WrestleMania, third year in a row. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, main event Universal title. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, main event WrestleMania, third year in a row. That's what they do. That's what they want. That's what they do. And then they act like they don't understand why it all goes bad. I give this match 0 stars out of 5. Not even 1 star. 0 star. A score so low that it's not even really a part of the scale. It shouldn't be possible. But this was a dud. This wasn't even a dud. This was like it was like a Metal Gear Solid 2 dud. In Metal Gear Solid 2, when the guys are shooting at Fortune and all the bullets are flying around because she deflects bullets, and then the one guy throws a grenade at her and the grenade doesn't work, and the guy goes, "Dude!" That's what this was. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, main event WrestleMania 34 Universal title was a dude. A dude. A dude. 0 stars out of 5. This was a fucking nightmare. Holy shit. Oh God. So that's WrestleMania. So that's WrestleMania. Final thoughts on the show, or the entire weekend. All in all, it was good. I mean, I think I gave out like 4 5-star matches, so anywhere you look at it, I was sports entertained on the whole. It was, the NXT TakeOver show on Saturday, like it is every year, was fantastic. And WrestleMania, the main show, it got off to a great start. It had great matches, and it just kind of went careening off a fucking cliff at the end, spiraling in a huge fireball, and everybody died, except for me. You know why? Because I had my tray table up and my seat back in the full upright position. That's how I feel regarding this WrestleMania. Because like every WrestleMania, there's a lot of really good and a lot of really bad. High marks and low points. High points and low points. Good stuff happened. Bad stuff happened. But on the whole, I'm always entertained by WrestleMania. I love WrestleMania. It's my favorite night of the year. Even when it's bad, I still have fun. I just love the whole atmosphere of the event. I love the WWE. I'm a lifelong WWE fan, going back to when it was a WWF, you know what I'm saying? So, I just like WrestleMania, and there was a lot of good. And yes, the match at the end, towards the end, the whole event just kind of fucked itself, which, that's usually how WrestleMania goes. It's usually a bunch of great matches in the beginning, and then the later half is just the shit that Vince wants, and it makes everybody sad. That's kind of been the pattern for the last few years. But you know what? It's all about having your tray table up and your seat back in the full upright position. It's all about going into it with the right mindset. Thinking, yes, this is WrestleMania. I know some things are going to blow me away. I know some things are going to disappoint me and make me sad. That's what I'm here for. I'm strapped into the ride, baby. Tray table up. Seat back in the full upright position. That's how you watch wrestling. That's how you enjoy wrestling. That's how you survive wrestling. And that's what it means to be a wrestling fan. I'm Enlet G, and that's your lesson for today, baby. That's your lesson for this whole year. That's your Wrestlemania vlog, review, podcast, piece of shit, clusterfuck video for me this year. There you go. Goodbye.